Hello everybody, my name is OJ and you're most welcome back to Wavy Nation. Today we have something we're going to talk about and I want your involvement in this. And the major question you have is President Museveni involved in the wealth of Hamis Kiggundu? Is it realistic that he has amassed all this wealth in a short time? Before going any further, I need you to go below and subscribe to this channel. First of all, let's know who Hamis Kiggundu is. Hamis Kiggundu is a Ugandan millionaire who has amassed his wealth from a portfolio of trading and investment companies all over Uganda, the United Kingdom, and of course the United States of America.
I have quite a number of properties. I have a logistics company in the United States trading as Express Logistics in Dallas. I also own property in the UK. I'm quite spread out, but I'm mainly focused and invested in Africa.
And he has acquired this wealth in less than 40 years of existence. And that's why this raises a lot of eyebrows and there are question marks about this. The thing is, he's been able to acquire commercial estates, residential buildings, a stadium, and of course shopping malls in town, and of recent, an agro-processing plant. So this is a very large portfolio that normally in Africa we get to find people of such wealth only in the ages of above 60.
What is the worst thing you've ever heard about yourself?
Like I told you, Africans are negative in general, Ugandans inclusive, but when you apply reason like I do, you come to realize that everything comes at a cost. Why do you expect to be richer than the majority of the people in your society and you expect them to clap and love you so much? No, it is a natural thing. Hate is part of the human cycle.
So this is something that is strange, and that's why this question keeps arising. Is President Museveni involved in this man's wealth? However, are we really supposed to be suspicious of Hamis Kiggundu's wealth? Let's look back to his history. Hamis Kiggundu grew up in a household of business people. So this means that he was involved in the business practice from the time he was a young boy. He was able to get a few business hacks from the people that were close to him. Because of these years of experience in business, I must believe that Hamis Kiggundu got a good start. It is also said that he got some capital from his family and therefore giving him a spring above others who would have started from zero. However, Hamis Kiggundu is not the only person who has gotten a head start from his family. Many people have got such opportunities and have wasted them, which makes him also a genius in some way.
If we want to develop and elevate Africa, I think we should attack the mind of the Africans. If we can get Africans to reason, I think we shall have solved all the problems of Africa. If Africa holds all the world majority of the world resources, yet we are still donated to up to date. We take resources in raw materials, minerals, and they are brought back in form of peanuts in donations. What stops us from utilization of the available resources and their exploitation towards a finished product in line or in the direction of our prosperity? What is stopping us? The resources are here now. What is stopping us?
You're not reasoning enough?
From Hamis Kiggundu's family history, it shows us that there is a culture that was groomed into him from start. This is something that lacks in many Uganda families. Most times parents separate their work life from their home life and therefore they do not involve their children in their businesses. However, people like Hamis Kiggundu were involved in their parents' businesses and that made them a little more better in business than probably many people. Because of this, many people find it hard to fit in the normal world after education at school. However, I would like to relate this family culture and tradition that Hamis Kiggundu's family instilled in him from childhood to families of the Indians, the Somalis, and of course the Jews. Certain values like accountability, values like the need to become better as human beings day by day, values that we need to be part and parcel of the development of our societies other than just onlookers, which is something that is so wide in the black community that people do not influence their children to be part of problem solving in their communities from a tender age. This makes us realize that Hamis Kiggundu is different from his upbringing.
I wouldn't advise anyone to look for deals. I would advise anyone to work hard to do businesses because deals are temporary, short term and fast. But businesses are, yes, slow, but becoming rich is all about a constant productive chain. If someone can be productive, that's what amounts to wealth. Wealth is gradual and it's not done overnight. Anyone can get money, but not everyone can get wealth. Wealth cannot be inherited. Wealth cannot be grabbed in a deal. Money in a deal is as good as buy an expensive car, show off. But if you're looking for real substance in terms of wealth, you have to take one step at a time. You have to identify something that is productive, that can pull you from one level to another. If you are to build an empire, it is one step at a time.
From such families, people get to learn practices in business that get to help them in the future. And of course, when we talk about this, you realize that Hamis Kigundu's story is not very different from Aliko Dangote's story, the richest man in Africa. Dangote. Dangote also grew up from a family that was mainly business oriented, in a way that his uncle was very, very enterprising and gave him a head start in life with some capital. I must say, it should be believable because it is relatable even in other countries in Africa. People who get to this level get to look at life in a bigger picture. They get to look at their communities and ask themselves, what are our problems? And because of those problems, these people get to structure solutions for their communities. And from those solutions is where they get to capitalize and of course gain a lot of money from these communities.
If you ask me what does Africa need to do to develop, I'll tell you things like unity. We cannot unify physically if we haven't unified in the mind. These borders are only physical. The real borders of Africa are in our minds. But we fail to reason even on the simplest things. Africa would have one unified flag. Africa would have a free trading zone. Africa would be traveling on one passport. Why do I need to cross from here to South Africa through a visa? The limiting factor of our ability to grow, despite the resources we hold as a continent, is reason.
I'm very certain that it's possible to amass wealth in a country like Uganda, given that we still have a lot of challenges, and whoever comes around to solve these challenges has a higher chance of being wealthy. Above all, I must believe right now in Uganda there is a conducive environment for people to be able to amass wealth. I must believe that it's very possible. However, who knows? Can we really rule out the question? Is President Museveni involved in the wealth of Hamis Kiggundu?
I am an independent individual and a private member of the society. I don't hold any public funds. When you say government, if you mean that the government has put in place the right prevailing circumstances under which a reasonable man like me has been able to exploit the prevailing circumstances like security and freedoms to make it to where I am today, it is 100% true.
And if you have any thoughts about this, comment below and tell us what facts you have. Give us your argument. See you next time in the next video.